Hello folks, now we're gonna have an authentication. Ospf has an authentication, simple authentication, and which is clear text and an MD5. So MD5 is recommended. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna make these two guys, R1 and R3, as a simple authentication, and we will be doing which is a clear text, and we will be doing this one in area 0, R1 and R2 on those interfaces, because Ospf, the authentication you can do by pair interfaces. So we're gonna do MD5 on here. So let me go to R1 now. If I say area, if I say IP Ospf, we can, what I can do now, I can make a whole the area as a simple authentication, or I can use the interface. So let me use this one, area. So area 2 authentication, this is the symbol, you don't need anything else. So for it, this cover is for whole this area. So area 2 authentication, that is it. So this is a symbol. So I will go to R2 again, and I will go to the interface, which is serial 5/0. So IP Ospf authentication, then key, this is a clear text here, key Cisco, for example. And then if and the caveat is, what you need to watch out is the Cisco, the both interfaces, they must have identical ID, identical password, otherwise they will not work. So let me go to R1 now. So interface serial 5/0, IP Ospf authentication, key Cisco. If I say do show IP interface, so do show IP Ospf neighbors, we still have the neighbors. But if I say show IP Ospf, then we're gonna see this information. Let me show you. We have an area backbone. So area 0, there is no authentication. Okay, area 0, there is no authentication. So area, we are waiting for area 1. So we are also, this area has a transit. This is area 2. Area 2 says, area 2, the router 3 say, router 1 says area 2 number of interfaces is 1. This area has a transit capability virtual link endpoint. Area has a simple password authentication, which means it is not MD5. It is not an MD5. So if I say show IP Ospf, okay, that's what it is. Okay. So now if I go to R3, it's the same. Show IP Ospf area 2, loopback 1, simple authentication, and you can see. Okay, now let me go to to have authentication on these guys. So if I go to area, router, so I'm gonna configure. I'm configuring MD5 now. OSPF1 area 0 authentication. That now is a message digest. That makes an OSPF area secure. So if I go now, if I go to interface, this applies for whole area 0. Yeah. So if I go to interface and say gigabyte 0/0 IP OSPF message digest key, which is a Cisco 1 digest key. Yeah, with the key is key 1 and MD5, and then it's Cisco. Just I made a Cisco now, and then as soon as I do that, the membership expires. So if I go to R2 and then I say area 0 authentication message digest, and then I go to the interface gigabyte 0/0, then IP OSPF message IP OSPF, yeah, message digest key key 1 MD5 and Cisco. So now it will come up. Yeah, now it came up. So what I can else do, I can have another key. So I can say IP OSPF key 2, and then if I say show IP OSPF, let me check in here. Okay. Or if I say debug IP OSPF event, at this point I can see what event goes here, and let me go to R3 and say debug, so I can see OSPF, debug OSPF events. So now if I go back to R2, sorry, and I want to see it, what comes up. Or R1, sorry, because yeah, because virtual link authentication I should have in here. OSPF1, because now the adjacency expired of R1 because of the virtual link that's connected to R1. The reason why, because it didn't have authentication before. We just configure it as a normal virtual link. If I show you do show run interface OSPF, it's just a normal virtual link right here. What is virtual link? So I need an authentication for this for area 2. So I'm going to area 2 virtual link authentication. Then the authentication will be the authentication only. Okay, so if I go to R1 and same router OSPF 1 area 2 virtual link 0.0.0.0/3 authentication. So I'll see if it comes back. Yeah, the authentication has come back, because the reason why we used the area as authentication, simple authentication, but virtual link needed an authentication. So the way you do it is the way I did it. Section Ospf. Now I will show you the config here. Ospf, what is it? That is what I did. So if it is a MD5, you just write it message digest key, authentication message digest key. And now we have a neighbors relationship here. Do show IP Ospf neighbors. So we have configured it. And if you go to R2, show IP Ospf neighbors. So everything is done, and I hope it has been informative for you, and I would like to see you on the next